Welcome back everybody to the channel. Today I'm going to be ranking the Dragon Quest games that I played right before Dragon Quest 7 comes out. And the 5 that I played are Dragon Quest 8 on the PS2, Dragon Quest 11 on the PS4, Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D Remake on the PS5, obviously, and then 1 and 2 Remake, also on the PS5. And so I'm going to be ranking them, worst to best. I'm going to be honest, they're all great, so play whatever one you want. So let's start off with 5th. The worst Dragon Quest game that I've currently played is Dragon Quest 1. And that's because it's mainly down to like how long the game is really, and the lack of variety you can really do with it. There's not much you can really do with just one character in your party. And like, that's it. Like, he can't really change classes or anything. He always learns certain stuff. I guess you can make it a little bit harder by not making him learn with the scrolls, but that doesn't really change anything. So he doesn't have much variety in gameplay, which is a little bit sad because I do like the game overall. The story is very nice and short. Obviously, it's a smaller game. I actually cared about the world a little bit more than I did in 3, who will be showing up very shortly, by the way. Music's great, voice acting's great. Everything about this game is fantastic. It's just, you only have one party member. And that kind of limits, like, it doesn't make you want to play the game again, really. At least not more than, like, maybe twice. And so that's why it's in last place. But I still do think it's a good game. And that's why it's still ranked on the list. Even though there's no point. Moving on. In 4th place is Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D Remake. It was released a year before Dragon Quest 1 and 2, so it has a little bit less settings in the settings. And its animations are like halved because it only goes 4 directions instead of 8, but that's not the point. I'm mainly here for the gameplay. Story-wise though, it's good, I guess. It's okay. I didn't really care about Dragon Quest 3's story that much. Maybe because it was also a larger game, so I didn't really feel that. I don't really care about anyone, to be honest, except for our father. Because that's, I think, maybe the whole point. I don't like how your characters have no personality, because you curate them. Which is okay for some people, but not okay for me. I like having my guys with personality. And that's why it's there. Gameplay-wise, though, it's pretty good. You have vocations, so you can switch up how you want your party to be like every run, or even switch them out in the middle of a run. And obviously, with different vocations come different spells, and so you can always have a unique kind of character that you can create by yourself. And that's kind of the only reason it's above Dragon Quest 1, to be honest. Because there is more replay ability in the game compared to it. And that's why it's ranked at number 4. Moving on to number 3, which is definitely going to piss some people off, is Dragon Quest 11 on the PS4. I think the game's great. Like, overall, I think it's a good game. And to be honest, I'm probably being a bit harsh on it, because it has been a year since I last played it compared to the last 3 that I played. I think the story is a little bit more engaging than it's probably the most engaging out of the entire group. Like, all the Dragon Quest games that are here, it's probably the most engaging, just because it is so different. You know, because you're being chased down by them, at least for Act 1. The characters are all great. Well, most of the characters are great. I don't really care for Jade, Eric, or Rab that much. Everyone else either was okay. Actually, no, everyone else is great. And obviously, I didn't care about a hero who didn't show emotion at all. I'm gonna be honest, they really fucked up with the hero. They focused on way too much on some of the camera angles. And then in Act 3, he was just the worst. But move past story reasons. Gameplay is pretty good. You got multiple options for the skill tree, which is nice. Maybe I'll appreciate more on a replay, Just like I started appreciating Dragon Quest 3 2D Remake a bit more. But currently, as I'm feeling, I think it's good. I think Dragon Quest 11 is a good game. And definitely the easiest starting point if you ever really want to get into the series, because it doesn't have a lot of the annoying shit. And you can't really get lost. I'm pretty sure the game's pretty clear on where to go. The bosses are all good. I don't think there's a single one that's wasted. Dungeons are all good too, because, well, they're good. I don't think there's a single bad one in the game. Obviously there's some less than others that I like, but overall dungeons are good too. I think the main problem is kind of Act 2, kind of Act 3. Because Act 2, some of it you spend apart from each other before joining up together, and then Act 3, like, how you started is kind of sad. But apart from that, everything else is great. I don't think there's much else to talk about here, unless I want to go deep into the complex shit, but that should be saved for a review of the game. So that's where I'm ranking Dragon Quest 11. Now moving on to the last two, and I think it's pretty clear which one's going where. In second place, I have put Dragon Quest 2 HD 2D Remake. No surprise, I love this game a lot. I wanted to replay it again, but I've stopped myself because that's also just kind of the bias of just playing it like last month. I think these characters are great. I actually care about them. Penelope, no, not Penelope. What's her actual character name? Look, I'm just gonna say Princess of Moonbrook, great character. Caradoc, Prince of Cannock, he's also good, and his sister's also good. They're all good. But the Princess of Moonbrook definitely has the most emotional weight to them. And then obviously the hero, who cares about him really? He doesn't have much of a personality, like all of them do. I do like how the world is connected to Dragon Quest 1, and then you also get, you know, hints of all the stuff from Dragon Quest 3 as well. I don't know, it's a good finale to the trilogy. And it makes it all feel connected. And especially the ending, the true ending, that shows peak. Like, that's the greatest thing I've seen since, look, it's just the greatest thing I've seen out of Dragon Quest so far. Except for Dragon Quest 8, because that's obviously the best game in the entire franchise. Nay, the entire world. We're not talking about Dragon Quest 8 right now. Dungeon-wise, I think this game was also good. It was all pretty good dungeons. Except for maybe a few, but I can't really name them from the top of my head. There's probably some, like, optional dungeon that sucks, but who cares, it's optional. Boss-wise, I think they're all a lot better than Dragon Quest 1 and 3 as well, because they feel even more connected to the story. And that's good, because I don't really want to fight bosses that have no connection to the story. Unless they're funny. But Dragon Quest 1 and 3 bosses weren't really funny. You also get the fucking ancient key, ultimate key, real early. Another thing is, post-game for Dragon Quest 2, unlike 3, is actually good, and I actually enjoyed it the first time around without having to replay the game. I haven't even replayed it yet, but I don't know if I'll change my opinion on that ever. I just like it feels more balanced. Probably because it is more balanced because there's less variety that you can do. Because every character has a clear role to play in battle. Except for maybe the Princess of Cannock. But even then, she still is... It's still pretty obvious what kind of stuff you want to do with her. Overall, Dragon Quest 2 HD 2 Remake is the best game that I've recently played. Yeah, that's actually true. Best game I've played recently. And also the second best Dragon Quest game I've played in all of its history. All of my history. And so, we move on to the final one. Dragon Quest 8. Which is in first place because it's obviously the greatest game of all time. Definitely not because I grew up on it. Definitely not because I've replayed it about 10 times. All the way through to the post-game. Got on level 99. You know, all that stuff. I definitely didn't do all that. Dragon Quest 8 is great. And that's never going to change. Monster Arena exists there. Which automatically makes it better than the other ones. That's actually half the fun of the game. Even though I go and choose the same team all the fucking time, I still like the monster team either way. And like how you can call them into battle and get them to help you. Story-wise, it's also kind of unique compared to Dragon Quest 1 and 3, 1, 2, 3. where it's kind of like a big journey to save the world. Whereas this one, it kind of starts off with like, oh yeah, we gotta go like save Trodes. We gotta go get rid of his curse. It's kind of selfish at the beginning, but then turns out we gotta save the fucking world again. Because of course we can. I mean, of course we have to. It's a Dragon Quest game. Yangus and Trode are hilarious. Medea doesn't have much time to do much because she's a horse, because she's cursed, obviously. But you can still see what she's like, because even as a horse, she has a personality. Unlike the Dragon Quest III party members. Angelo is interesting. I still love him, he's still great. But he's not a good person. I think I just had a voice crack, who cares? And then Jessica probably is the most serious one out of our entire group, apart from Trode. And then she also actually gets stuff done. Dragon Quest VIII's got my favourite bosses in the entire series. Gyze is great, Calamari is great, and all the rest of them are also great. I'm not going to name them all because they'll take a while. And dungeon-wise, it's also all great. Except for maybe Doug Mole's place, because it's kind of just dirt. But I do like how there's a little... Like, it makes sense in terms of story. It's just very boring. But Doug Mole makes up for that because he's hilarious as well. With the stupid harp. And he's literally got his own people trying to ask for help, pretty much. And then the general enemies are also great. Some of them are annoying, but they're not as annoying as Dragon Quest III's one, where I feel like they just... It's the ones... I hate the enemies that just defend and take up... Just... make the game make it longer for no reason. I just want to get the fight over with. I don't care about these stupid beans. What are they? I don't really care about the general enemies that much. But I hate them if they really slow down the gameplay of the rest of the game. And then you've got the flying theme. And this game's the reason why it's the best. Oh, and then the final boss is obviously good. And then the post game's also good. At least, you know. Well, actually, no, all of it's good. All the post game's good too. It's not as expansive though. Then again, the 3DS version did add more stuff, so hopefully when there's a Dragon Quest VIII remake, or reimagining, or whatever, the post-game is a bit more expansive. I do like the post-game that was in PS2, but it was kind of just one thing. Or like, I think there might be a few minor other stuff, but it was mainly just that one post-game thing. With the dragons and stuff. And there you have it. My ranking of the Dragon Quest games right here. Now hopefully, this is the one that gets... hopefully I'm done after this. I've recorded this episode, this stupid video like 500 times. Anyway, that's it. I'll be back after Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined, probably, to put it somewhere on the list. Unless, of course, there's another Dragon Quest games that's, you know, stated to release in like fucking 5 months or something. They're coming out with these games so fast, I wouldn't be surprised if we get announcements for them. Dragon Quest 8's already done, actually. You know, they're just waiting for this game to be out already. I hope so. Dragon Quest 8. I don't think it's likely, but I think it's going to be the last one to be remade. Just because it was the one that got the most recent remake, I think. I don't actually know. Anyway. There you have it. Hopefully you guys, 100% agree with my tier list because it is objectively correct. Goodbye.